Hello, listeners. Welcome to The Listening Show. I'm one of your hosts, Walter. Here with me is my best friend, Zach. He's hosting the show with me today. Thanks for filling in, Zach. I appreciate you being here.
You know, it was last minute, but I'll do my best to hold up the standard of The Listening Show.
Yeah. All you have to do is counter my straight man. You think you can do that?
So, what am I, a gay guy?
Checkmate. Good job. Yeah, that was the listening show. So you can listen to. We're two losers. Just talk back and forth. And apparently, you have some people. How many people are listening now? Several. It's several thousand, right?
There, I guess. Certainly accumulatively, we have 1,300.
That was a nice political spin.
Yeah.
Cumulatively.
Yeah, we've expanded our audience to TikTok this week, so it's more now.
Did you clean the room? Well, I picked something up. I picked up one thing, so I did clean the room. Like I cleaned the room. You know, it's technically correct. You know that. You know, like if my message, did you clean the room? You could manipulate the answer by saying yes, I cleaned the room.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, so it's a technicality.
Yeah.
Anyway, no. How many people do we have for Sirius?
We have 1,300.
Really?
For like 50 or 40 subscribers on YouTube. My TikTok has personally gained like 20 followers this week because I've been posting our highlights on my personal TikTok channel.
Yeah, is it called Zach with original content or something? And you're uploading shows from. Wait, were you joking? Are you talking about the listening show TikTok or actually your personal?
I
TikTok?
actually don't have a listening show TikTok. I put them on my personal one.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought for some reason you made a TikTok of freaking the listening show.
No, I couldn't figure it out. So I gave up and put them on my own.
I don't care.
I didn't think you would, but I was like, that's why I mean, like, I literally personally have gained like 20 followers this week because of our clips. But yeah, at some point, maybe I'll change my picture to like a listening show logo because it's so much. Like, I have a couple things for me, but
Okay, I was gonna say, what about your own stuff though? If you want to do stuff for yourself,
yeah. The way I figure it, if the listening show eventually makes their own too, I'm just like cheating and taking the highlights that I like personally, which is literally what I'm doing. And they're funny. We're funny people. Did you know that?
what?
We're funny guys.
I was just gonna rip off of Idiocracy.
Yep.
What? Just keep doing it. Like that's not an original joke. I can't do it. Well, that's a rule, isn't it? Once you say you are something, you're not. I'm really humble. You trust that they're not. I'm really smart. Good chances are they're not smart. That's
I'm a
just
molecular
rule.
biologist and I studied 10 years at Yale. No way. Can't be now.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's just like jinxing yourself. It's like a rule. You just can't. There's probably better ways to say it. Well, one way is he who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. I'm like, word.
Yeah.
The word. That's good shit.
Of God.
It's the word, man.
Yeah.
What's the word? Ephesians 9:20. Oh, you know, it's probably been done making scripture cool. What's the word? The word. And then I do like,
No. You don't even know. My parents were those people.
oh.
They literally made Bible verse albums when I grew up. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you ever listen to them?
I may have heard one.
I'm not going to lie. They're not bad. like they wouldn't hold up today. They would hold up to a kid because they don't know better. But for the time, they were like produced really well. I mean, they're Bible verses, so they were lyrically confined, you could say.
Yeah.
But they did
We seem to be
experimenting.
our thank you. Yeah. Our CIA listener Chad was pushed the wrong button. You can listen live
Chad.
to our closed loop recording.
Everybody, we got like several emails from our website because you know our website says a whole bunch of stuff about Chad and how he's ruining everything for us. Yeah, we have a website and Chad ruined everything, and so we've had like 4 or 5 emails now that say, "Chad, stop."
So
Stop
you know
ruining
it's
it."
kind of weird. I think I mentioned what the heck is that?
It's this thing.
It's the cable not being good.
Yeah.
So I just renewed. I think I told you I renewed the website like a couple of days ago, which means we've had it for a year. We haven't been doing the show that long, but I got the website before we started the show. But it's been a year since we've had the website for a year. An unfinished website for a year is what I'm saying. A ruined site by Chad
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, we need some things before we can progress. One thing we're going to progress with is we're here. We'll probably do some internet stuff, and we'll hopefully have a logo in not too long. That'd be really like a small thing, but also like a big thing because we still don't have any kind of image at all. We're literally stuck with our faces, or probably this silhouette of both of us is probably the closest. But like, you know,
It's actually pretty incredible as many people that are listening based on our quality right now. Like I know that the audio sounds pretty great, and we have like this.
we both have legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually see our legs in the shot.
Yeah.
So we're
Multiple.
quadrupeds.
Multiple
legs.
camera angles.
Yeah.
Yes, it's immersive for that. Yeah, no, it's
Well, and we're relatable, and we're like, hey, I have legs. You know,
yeah, when people watch us, that's the first thing they think is like, what? Finally, another person with legs that I can
I just
listen
said
to.
quadruped. That means walk on all fours.
That means 4 legs.
Is that a quadriplegic? Does that mean you have 4 limbs?
No, that means you notedly don't have 4 limbs. Quadriplegic means you lack 4.
So a quadruplus?
Quadrupositive. I don't know. Quadrupod, maybe, I think.
That sounds less dumb than quadruplus.
Quadriplegic. It means you very notably don't have 4. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's quadruped, I think is what you'd call it.
But
It's
no, a
biped.
quadruped means you walk on all fours, I think. Like a dog would be a quadruped.
Well, the word ped means of feet. or
Yes, it
feet.
means feet.
So I think it just means.
But that would be 4 feet. But we don't have 4 feet. We have 4 limbs. We have 2 feet. So I was trying to find the word for what a anthropomorph.
4
So
limbs.
quadrupod, I think, was the closest. Pod might mean limbs.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. So
That is a great question. We are not educated enough to know the answer, but it is a great.
let's just
theory.
stick with like 2 because we haven't figured out 4 yet.
Yeah, I know
was a
what we're
big step.
bipeds because we have 2.
Right.
Yeah, or bipods.
Oh no, it's difficult again.
I don't know.
Bipedal. No, I think bipedal would be
Bipedontists.
Let's just make this more difficult.
Bipedontists. Yeah.
My parents are bipedontists. They work on people's legs.
Yeah. They give them leg braces.
If I heard that from somebody, yeah.
Leg braces. That's funny because of orthodontist.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I was thinking like,
Bipedontists.
Where-
Give you leg braces.
yeah, where do you go for your leg braces? Bipedontist. I'm making that up half, but
Yeah.
that's where I was going with it. Like literally the care of limbs or feet, legs.
You said you kind of had a topic idea.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. Well, I wasn't just thinking about it. I mean, I was thinking about when I was thinking about it. I was in the shower, which is when I have most of my thoughts, most of my ideas.
You know what they
'Cause
call
it's
those?
Wet thoughts?
Yeah.
Really?
No, they're called shower thoughts.
That's
I was like, I thought you
stupid.
knew it. And so
No, I didn't. Wet thoughts? That's something else, isn't it?
Wet thoughts. No. That doesn't exist, but I can
Yes,
see
it
it.
does.
I can see a scenario where it does so. Ah! All right, it's going off for all time. That's funny. That ruined my laughter.
The thought was, I think it's something that while I haven't fully explored and we could just go back and forth, I think we disagree about, which is what makes it interesting. It's the idea, and tell me if we've talked about it on the show before. I don't think we have. It's the idea of, it's kind of like, I have it written down, be easier. Act versus belief versus whatever the third one is. So the idea of, I think the thought I had in the shower was, well, God forbid I pretend to look happy or try to look happy when I'm not, because then I would be deceiving people, and I don't want to deceive anybody. But then your side would be, well, you have an obligation to, not bring people down and be whatever that others. And I totally get that side. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't
It's
think
just,
I
I'm
was-
on that first half. Like, well, I don't want to possibly deceive people. Now go ahead and just tell me why I'm wrong or whatever.
That's tough because you're close to right about your definition of what I think about it, but I don't know if it's quite an obligation. I think that if you have the ability to be a positive force, then you're not obliged to, but you should be. So you are morally obliged to do your very best
That's
to
what
not
I meant.
impact people
By
negatively.
obligated, I meant it's your responsibility. Is what I meant. Like you
Maybe.
should. Anyway, I get both sides for sure. I think anybody with some sense could understand both, but I tend to lean on the first one. But I don't. It's hard for me to
Justify it.
Yeah, and I maybe it is, maybe it's both. Maybe you can do one or the other. Maybe neither are right, neither are wrong, and where you land kind of depends on your personality. Because despite how much we have in common and how well we get along, we got a lot of differences. But for the most part, we have things in common, I'd say. But personality wise, there's a big difference. I'm far lower energy than you are.
Big difference for sure. I like, for some reason my brain capacity isn't like formulating smart ways to say things tonight.
Then
But
don't.
I do want to
Why use few word when
When little word.
when little do?
when little do job.
Yeah,
Yeah, little word do job. That's a Kevin from The Office.
yeah.
Yep. Well, I guess this is how dumb Zach would think about it right now. I've thought about it all the way through and know the words, but dumb Zach would think, when I look at people who behave the way that you're talking about, or the way that you say you generally espouse, where it's, if you watched a man on the street behave, like if they were in a bad mood and they behave as though they were in a bad mood, you don't appreciate it. Like it doesn't make you feel good. Now, and it's not about, I know.
No, you don't know what I'm going to say. I have a lot of things I'm going to say, but one in particular is, but the guy who is acting nice and you don't know that he's pretending to be nice, you'll never know.
Right.
No, that's one of the many things. Anyway, continue.
Well,
we both have a lot of things to say.
Yeah. On the other hand, you know what I'm going with. You could just do the flip side.
I don't want to interrupt you though. Sorry.
You will not be a person who's behaving like they're having a bad day. If they are having a bad day, can ruin your day as a third party. Now, a person that proves my point. So you don't know how many people you've walked by who are having a terrible day but didn't behave like it because they didn't make you suffer for their bad day.
Yeah.
Which is less selfish. I think the first guy would be more selfish to do so.
I can't argue with that. All I can do is
Try to.
no. All I can do is proclaim the pros of my negative half, which like the things
Yeah.
you said are true. The things I think about. Go ahead.
I have an exercise and I think would be fun. I would like to try to argue your case and I want you to try to argue mine. Just to see if we can justify it.
That'd be fun.
It would be fun. Do you want to try?
Sure.
All right.
I win.
Here's why I think that your idea is right. Because I believe in truth and I believe in being truthful. Those things are like some of the best things you can do. First, the best thing is to love people, I think. But the second best thing is to tell the truth and to be truthful.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to tell the truth.
I think it's to love people.
Well, it doesn't mean you can't love people. They're not mutually exclusive.
Well, I think
If someone
even-
doesn't deserve love, doesn't mean you can't love them anyway. Truth has no say in that.
Mm-hmm.
It could say you're ugly and you're not a good person or whatever, but I love you. And that's going to probably undercut the love, but I think the truth is more important than love.
I
We
think the
moved on to a
Bible
new topic,
disagrees
but
with you.
this, okay, this is a new topic, but this is also interesting.
The Bible disagrees with you. It says, above all, love. It's the Bible's perspective. That's what Jesus did too.
Maybe this might be squirmy. Maybe in a way, truth is synonymous with love. It's
The greatest
like
of these.
love is like an all-encompassing. It includes truth. You can't love without truth. Maybe
That might be true.
it's like one of those
It
have your
is.
cake and eat it too answers.
It's a subdivision of love. Love is pretty big and encompassing.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to trying to argue for your case.
Okay. Yeah. That
So
was
you're-
fun though.
So bad days occur, and you see, here I am going back to my beliefs about it. But if you are having a bad day, your actions are speech would be the one derivative. So if you act like you're having a good day, you are essentially speaking that you're having a good day, which would be a lie. So this actually kind of boils down to, do you believe that your actions count as speech or what you say? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. I thought you were supposed to be talking about how acting out how you feel rather than pretending to be something you're not is more important.
Well, because if you believe your actions are speech, if you act in a way you don't feel, that'd be lying.
Yeah.
which is counter to the truth, obviously. And truth is an important thing and a good thing to do.
I think I understood that. It just seemed confusing.
So my best argument for acting like you're having a bad day when you're having a bad day is that it'd be truthful, technically, but okay, I'm not going to go buts. That's my argument.
The reason it's good to act. See, I'm mixing in who you are versus what you act versus what you want. That's what it was. Act, want, believe. 3 different things. If you act how you want to be, so I'm having a bad day, but I'm going to put the outward appearance of just being happy, and I'm going to treat everybody as nice as I can. And essentially, one negative way we would just say to try to conceal the fact that I'm having a bad day. Spare them that burden. If you can do that, whether the people you interact with directly or indirectly, you will make them in the world subsequently a better place as a result of your selfless act. It's work to do that too. It's harder to pretend than it is to just be. So in that way, it's commendable and noble. There's like my defense for that.
Yeah. But did you have any qualms with the way I defined what you think?
I just didn't think you made it robust enough.
Oh.
But yeah, I didn't disagree. No.
Okay. By the way, I agree. That was a good assessment of mine. It actually becomes it obviously becomes a deeper argument. It becomes 2 things. Like, are you how you act?
Well, I think it's 3 things. And I always forget the 2. I say act, belief, and there's a 3rd one. It's want. Mm-hmm. They're very different. For the sake of people listening, I'll try to explain. Act is what you think it is. I'm going to put on this appearance. I'm going to behave in this way. If you act like a happy person, and you make all these nice things throughout the day, did you have a good day? By outward appearance, you had a good day. So what's the difference? What is real? How do you define real? That's what that category is. Belief is, I really believe I'm a pessimistic person who's not really going to be happy. I can pretend to be happy all I want, and no one will know that deep down I'm miserable. Despite you being happy all day, are you actually what you believe to be? Are you miserable? Or, and this one's kind of the if or both, is the want. So if I want to be happy, is it a choice? Very kind of like belief. Belief is deep down. Want is more
I think that's just part of belief.
It's kind of yeah. I thought through it enough times to where it bothered me where I left out the want variable. Maybe it would be the one to go if you were going to narrow it down to 2 for sure. That's why I left it for last. But anyway, between belief and act, I totally act on belief.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's right or wrong, but that is definitely in line with my personality.
In your hierarchy of things that you think are meaningful, where do you rank feelings in them? Like, do you think feelings are more important than like?
I can't think of anything that's less important.
Okay. So I'm going to use that to try to argue my case, because essentially what you are doing is when you behave how you feel that is the base of your behavior. In that case, it's your feelings. And if you don't believe feelings are important, then it should be incumbent on you to overrule your feelings about a thing and behave as though things were differently. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but I just want to argue it.
Okay.
I wanted to interrupt. Obviously, I didn't want to interrupt that badly because I didn't, but I mean, and maybe I'm nitpicking. I was thinking about what about the situation though? Obviously, for example, at work, I have an obligation to act a certain way. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I don't. Then how do you justify me acting a certain way? So I can't remember the middle thing you said.
We both agree feelings are wishy-washy. So why would you build a behavior off of a feeling is my argument.
Well, maybe I'm being picky again, but I think you're trying to make feelings synonymous with belief.
I think they could be. Belief is one of those weird things, and feelings are really weird. They're one of those weird things.
To make it easy, let's say this. Let's say act versus feel.
Okay.
Let's just remove belief.
Okay.
So let's say it's act, belief, want, feel. Let's just do act and feel. Let's do those 2.
Yeah, because want is just like a desire, a feeling. Want is a feeling.
Well, yeah, let's just do act and feel.
Okay.
we kind of are getting hung up on the terms, and that happens. And
Yeah.
it's like love and truth. But what is love? You know,
Yeah. I like this. This boils all of them down to
trying.
acting like something and feeling like something.
Okay. All right. So let's. I'm gonna walk through this again out loud for my sake. Hopefully, it helps us both along. I'm trying to ask myself if I felt like I was having a bad day. Would I actually feel obligated to act? Yeah. Feel free to interrupt this, but I kind of want to clarify. If I feel like I'm having a bad day, I hope you don't think, because I really don't, act like a truly miserable or sour person. And I don't think I'm making anybody's day bad. I'm mostly neutral. I'm not like short with people and they want to talk. Nothing like that. It's just like, yeah. But I'm not pleasant. I'm not memorable. I don't smile, as an example. So it's kind of like a solid neutral. Obviously, I could benefit people by being positive, but the feeling, my thought, I think, still stands. I think if I was feeling meh, I'd have no obligation to pretend to be anything else. Go ahead and argue me if you want.
Well, I don't know that I want to structure the conversation based on like a back and forth, like argumentative, because I agree with that. And I know that you're not like that. Like you don't, like if you're having a bad day, you don't go make other people's day worse on purpose. You don't help them. And like you said, you don't leave a good impression.
Right. But if your worst day is a 1, your best day is a 10.
Yeah.
At minimum, the worst I'll behave around people is 5.
Yeah.
But I could be treating them as a 10, even though I feel like a 1, and I'm doing a disservice.
And not to muddy it more, but your 5 might be another person's perceived 3. Like
I like the muddiness. I really do.
Okay. So,
I like the.
So I think you know how I treat bad days because you've seen me have enough of them where I will be straight honest. Like I've had a terrible ass day, and then I will generally not make other people pay for it for the most part. Sometimes I do, but that's me contradicting what my philosophy is, which is to just be honest. I'm having a really bad day, and then actively try not to affect how you behave. In fact, if you can, be kind and joyful.
That's cool. One little caveat to add some mud. I think it's wrong to put on somebody, I'm having a bad day now.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Sure.
Now, obviously, if they asked, I won't lie.
Yeah.
But I think your attitude was very good. Tell the truth and then do your best to change your circumstances through acting.
Do you think that, I know we're best friends, so we throw that on each other all the time. Like, well, like, if I'm having a bad day.
Do you know a better one?
Just gets real
confrontational.
Yes, that's what I'm
Quadriplegic.
Just because I'm curious, I think both of us sort of know that we care how each other's day is going. So I'm like, you might come over to my house and I might volunteer. I'm having a really bad day, but I don't think it's unwelcome. But do you think that I would do that just to strangers if like I'd volunteer? I'm having a really bad day, boss. And then go to my desk and work for no reason?
No. I only thought to interrupt because it sounded like you were proposing a mode of being where now your common thing to do is when you engage somebody, tell them how you're doing. And then,
yeah, which I don't.
Which you weren't. Okay, yeah. No, obviously, I don't think you do that.
Yeah. I don't think either of us do. I don't think, because again, it's a good practice not to make conversations about yourself.
Yeah.
But in the event that, like you said, if you asked how my day is, or if I have a close enough like my mom or my family members or you or other close friends, I might volunteer without them asking. Yeah, I'm just having a really bad time. Maybe you could
rub my back. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you could just tickle me a little bit. Maybe I'll laugh.
Oh, speaking of mud, you were saying someone's 5 might be different than your 5. When you're having a bad day, you don't act. This is probably a better way to say this. I'm going to stumble with words because I don't want to speak quiet. I'm just too impatient. If I'm having a 5 day, I'll act 5. If you're having a 5 day, you will act more than 5. That's for sure. It's either your choice to act a certain way or your energy, but you're a step above in acting and being positive.
That might not be through the whole scale. If I'm having a 1 day, I might act like a -3. You know, I might. I don't know. That's for example.
But yes, to your point, people's numbers aren't necessarily the same with each other.
Mm-hmm. Even perceived ones. That's the point that I'm making. Is like,
oh, Okay, never mind. It wasn't that important. I remembered, but it's not that important. Well, sorry, what were you saying?
I don't want to make general statements. I'm going to make one, but hopefully people understand what I'm saying. Sometimes, like, one of the stereotypes about women in relationships is that if you don't pay attention to them, they think that you're mad at them. That's an example of what I'm talking about. Like someone, like a guy might be having a 5-day and he might behave like he's having a 5-day. And the
think I know
woman's
where
like,
this is going.
he is pissed at me. He's having
Yeah.
a 1 day and I don't know what I need. Like that. And that like I get the argument that that doesn't matter because they're perceiving wrong. But at the same time, you know, maybe if he made the effort to act like he was having a 6-day, she would see a 6-day and it would be accurate. I don't know.
Bringing it back, I think your point was like, you know, her 1 to 10 is different than his 1 to 10. When she is not talking, as an example, she's reflective of like a 2. When he's not talking, he's a 5. He's actually just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that.
So there, well, and for strangers especially, it's, I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of problems with, I don't have problems with how you behave. I think you make good choices despite your philosophy. I think that it's one of those like tiny little details that you can come to the same correct answer with, but you might have a more accurate formula. And that's the only reason I would argue the case of choosing to be kind and joyful despite your circumstances, because it gets you to the right solution more consistently than just behaving
Well,
I don't know. Maybe you know what I'm trying
what
to
you're
say.
saying is between acting and feeling, you think acting does the most good.
I think so. Your behavior does.
Whatever.
Because
Act
you can
versus
dictate.
feel. You're choosing one of those two. You choose act. You obviously choose it because you think it's ultimately the most good.
Well, I choose. This is where it boils down to. I know that it's better because I can actually dictate my behavior about things. I can't dictate my feelings about things. Those are just wishy-washy.
That's a
Who
good way.
knows?
That's a good pro. That's a good pro.
So I always have control if I choose that behavior usurps feelings.
That's a good pro.
And feelings
put
are
me-
real.
yeah,
It's just sucks.
That put me closer between the conflict between the two. I might be restating myself, but I don't know about you, but I kind of think that both are, it's not about right or wrong. It's
Yeah.
about what's right for you.
Yeah, it could be that too.
So this is the thing I was thinking, since we kind of wrapped that up. That wasn't important. I was thinking, I must have said this to you. I don't know who I would have said it to. I think people perceive themselves in one of two ways. It's either how they think they look or how they feel they are. And there's layers to that. It's not how they look, it's how they think they look. So it's the perception of themselves versus inward. I'm very outward. If I look like a hobo, I'm going to act like one. If I look like a grouch, like that's who I am now. That's, I think, I would guess, I have no idea. I would guess it's 50-50 between people. I think it's a strong personality divide, and there are many of them, like pessimist, optimist. I bet it's one of those things. I've never heard that described, but I just know that about myself. Do you know?
Oh, that's interesting. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know if there's a word for it. There is
Well,
some,
you can pick one if you think about it.
so the example that you use, like, let's say, like, you are the kind of person, if you dressed up in sweats and you didn't wear a shirt, you'd feel like a hobo all day. But on the contrary, if you dressed up nice, you wore your
If I
good
wore
jeans.
a suit, I'd be like, I'm gonna stand up straight. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to speak more
So you've-
articulately. And
So you're very influenced by your surroundings. That might be one way to say it.
no, I wouldn't say that. It's about perception of yourself. Who do you think you are? Do you think you are this, or do you think you're something inside?
Okay. So you're not very introspective.
I don't want to put a word on it. I'm not interested in that right now. I'm mostly
Okay.
just was given the idea about.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing that exists, and then I was asking what you are between the two.
I guess I think that's one way that we're different. I'm very like,
I thought so because, well, you're going to say you're an inward person, whatever that word is, right? And I would have guessed that because, well, one, I know you fairly well. But one other sign of that is because your behavior is more consistent than mine, which would be most likely a result of I'm the same person I was yesterday, despite how I look.
Yeah,
Or
which-
how I think I look.
I'll tell you the detriments to that. I actually, more I think about it, the more I think that that's exactly right about me, because I have very little care about my appearance, and it is obvious sometimes because people will be like, "Yeah, you're looking like tired, man," and I know what that means, is that you did not shower and you didn't wear nice clothes today, and Yeah. So I totally am, but I behave as though I'm just dressed to the nines. And
Well, I just want to pat myself in the back, and I don't think I tell you that you don't look good. Like,
I mean, nobody does because I always look great, but no, I just mean, I know what you mean. And I think that is interesting. Now, that's not to say that if I don't put on a freaking pirate outfit, I don't feel like acting like a pirate.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. That's fair observation, but that's kind of an extreme. I
Yeah.
didn't quite mean it literally like the clothes you're wearing, though. That could
Yeah.
maybe here. This would be less extreme and more. Okay, that's worth talking through. If you're overweight versus if you're in shape. So if you're overweight, certainly to a degree, you literally are that person. But because, well, you feel slow. Well, you objectively are slow versus you just feel slow because you think you look slow. There's two different things happening, and I think people tend to lead toward one or the other. You have anything to say about that?
Okay, so about, let's say, fat people as an example. This isn't what you were wanting to talk about, but I thought of it. I think I've talked to girls, especially before.
What? Where?
I don't want to tell you.
Where are
Because
they?
you'll take all the girls. Okay, but like, for instance, we were talking about like fat guys. Girls were. And you know, like the thing that people think about fat guys and girls is girls don't like fat guys. They're fat. But that's not what they say. They would say if a guy is fat, but he acts like he's not fat and he's something nice, then they're going to see something nice.
Yep.
And I think that's another argument for my case of what you act like really does matter, because people can perceive what you sense in yourself.
You're almost bringing up a whole other question.
Yeah.
Are you how people perceive you to be? I'm trying to do a completely internalized.
You get to dictate what you are, and you get to dictate it to people. Your behavior will write a whole bunch of information in people's minds about you.
Yeah. That's going back to our first thing about are you who you act versus who you feel. Does that have anything to do with? That's right. I was asking about being overweight and. Oh yeah. Did you have any thoughts about people seeing themselves for how they think they look like or who they think they are inside? Like another way that might work is you see yourself overweight in the mirror and you go, "Well, I'm just a fat person. That's just as who I am. Look,
Yeah.
there. That's what I am. I'm supposed to look like this almost."
Yeah.
There's that versus certainly someone could look at themselves in the mirror overweight and go, "I'm trapped in that body. That's not me." People could have it's one or the other.
Actually, so yes, that's right. Partly, there's a lot of psychologists acknowledge the fact that people don't really see themselves as they are. They actually see them as their potential. Often their perceived potential is exactly how they are, though. So a fat person, for example, sees their potential, but when they look in the mirror, they see a fat person and they see most of my potential is probably to be this fat or fatter for the future. So that's what they see, but they don't. But for people who can see potential and then who can actually focus on it and then fixate and then make decisions that go towards that, those are the successful people, because they adopt the principle of behaving, like not how they feel, but how they should act. I don't know. I just think it's a more useful philosophy. They call it charisma. They call it authority and confidence. There's things about the idea that you actually have control of your behavior. And it's empowering and it's hopeful.
I wasn't trying to say one or the other was wrong. I was just trying to say there are two different types of people, I think.
Yeah.
You are either somebody who is how you think you look, or you are who you think you are inside. You're one of those two people. And maybe you can make it more muddy. Maybe people can switch between them.
Sure. For sure. I have a story. Can I tell a story
Yeah.
about it? I got my first big boy job, 8 to 5 banking job. I was a teller and I was terrible at it. For the first 2 months, I was getting written up constantly and I didn't get trained very well. There's a lot of reasons I wasn't good at it. I was also like a kid and stupid. And so I wasn't waking up on time. Anyway, had a really tough first 2 or 3 months. And then I was talking to someone, I want to say it was like one of my grandparents or something. And they said something and it was just like, just act like you know what you're doing. And if you don't,
Your
and
grandpa's like, fake it till you make it, yo.
basically, it's like act like you know what you're doing, and then follow up on it. Is what he said.
Interesting.
And I liked that idea because I was like, all right, so first act like I know what I'm doing, and then actually learn what I'm doing. And instantly, I started having more success at my place of work, and I became like super valuable there. Everybody loved me, and I've taken that to every place I've worked, including like jobs that I've gotten that I didn't qualify for because I acted like I knew what I was doing, and then I followed up on it. If I didn't know what I was doing, then I didn't lie to them. I just learned how to do it really quick.
Yeah.
And maybe not everyone can do that, but I can speak that I've had a lot of success places because people see me as the person who always knows what to do. Even when I don't, I'm honest about it and I figure it out.
I like that advice because it's a little bit different than fake it till you make it. What was it? Pretend you know what you're doing and then follow up on it, which means then actually learn how to do it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're useless. Yeah, I like that. I have some cool grandpa advice that I could give as well. It stuck with me, but I haven't acted on it because it requires maybe it's a personality thing. Because if my grandpa gave me the advice your grandpa gave me, I probably wouldn't go through with it because I don't want to act like something I'm not. Yeah, but anyway, my grandpa's advice was what was the most succinct way to put this?
Succinct.
Succinct. I gotta interrupt to tell a story really quick. Okay. I remember where I was bookmarking this in my head. So we're loosely quoting Robin Hood Men in Tights, and there's a scene where someone's satirizing the Godfather, and there's a part when he starts talking like this, and he takes out cotton balls out of his mouth, and the joke he's had those the whole time. I did that to you in real life. I was quoting the movie with you. Yeah. I was pretending to be the Godfather, and I was like, now say the next line. And then you said, I went, and I actually took out cotton balls. I went through some work for a joke, but there, I closed that. Now can I get back to my story? Thanks, me. My grandpa said, when you are anywhere, when you work somewhere, when you go somewhere, I can't remember how you put it, ask everybody in the room what they know, and then you'll be the smartest person in the room. I was like,
and then go to a bigger room.
So like that's badass.
Yeah.
So that's true in a lot of situations, I guess. I was thinking about the gym. I was like, what if I just randomly ask people, hey, what's your thing that works for you? What's your, and then you can't tell anybody else what works for you. Or you have to keep your own information. It's like knowledge is power.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. I've never really used it, but I've always thought of it and remembered it. What? That's the end of my story.
I have to fart. I really thought it would be so funny if the camera was on you, and I just moved the microphone. I just farted it while you were talking about this cool life lesson. That's so crude and gross, but
no, that's hardly
do
bad.
it. What's our philosophy on farting in the microphone? Do we have one?
Well, there's a lot of challenges to that. Yeah, the physical part, like it won't reach very easily. Timing, where the camera is, a lot of things matter. It wouldn't be particular. It could be more or less funny depending on many things.
Yeah.
But the simplest question, yes or no? Yes, absolutely. Go ahead if you want to.
I was trying so hard.
Here's a question. Is it worse at all, or is it any different than burping in the microphone? Because we do that all the time.
Yeah, it is.
It is worse?
It's butt air. It's not face air.
Well, here, I could argue against that.
Farting is butt air.
If you're in a public event like a restaurant with your mom and dad, and you burp, your mom will give you a look. If you fart, I bet she gives you the same look. It's not about, I don't think one's worse than the other. She can be just as stern about either.
Would you rather someone burp in your mouth or fart in your mouth? There you go.
Wait, what? Swallow a...
Would you rather someone burp in your mouth or fart in your mouth? One is butt air, dude.
Well, then, would you rather have someone fart in your butt or burp in your butt? You see, it's about perspective.
I don't think I'd want someone to fart in my butt.
Well, that's not fair. That's not the question.
What is this conversation? I think butt air is worse than face air, dude.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that, but
okay.
But between farting and burping, it's not the air we're arguing about; it's the farting or burping. Neither is worse than the other.
Okay, so in the scenario we're talking about, if I farted in the microphone and the people heard the sound, it would be funnier than a burp, probably.
But it's not worse.
Yeah, I was trying to fart in the microphone while you were doing your bit so hard, And I got so stressed out because the fart wasn't coming out that I just hurt my abs. I was trying to do the bit so bad. So I was
Sorry.
like, it's not coming out now.
I stress fart. I fart when I get stressed.
That's so crude. There's women listening to this.
So
I don't care.
I
just
know
saying.
this might be news to you, but women are people too.
and they have butt air too.
Yep.
Sometimes women have butt air. Sometimes
Usually never.
That seems like something you'd find in an inspirational meme. Women have butt air too.
Oh, here's an inspirational thing. Everyone poops.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm inspired.
That's a cry.
What were we talking about before this?
Before what exactly?
Oh, I know it was. We talked about being the most knowledgeable person in the room, and then I said that
Smartest
means you need
person.
to get a bigger room. And that's the idea of if you're the biggest fish in the pond, then find the ocean, which I
Yeah.
like the idea because,
Yeah, well, I hate water, so I like my grandpa's version
Yeah.
better.
well, what's interesting, I want to talk about that if you're down.
Go ahead. I'm not going anywhere.
So I like that analogy because there's also like if you're a small fish and you're put into a big pond with big fish, if you're small enough, you'll get eaten and then you'll get pooped out and you won't,
Be a
then
fish
you'll
anymore.
die. Yeah. you'll be
You'll
pooped.
pooped out, and then you'll die.
You know what I mean?
I know, yeah,
You're
yeah.
trying. Okay, I'm trying to draw the logical conclusion of this analogy. So like, there's so
You want to be the one that poops out other fish.
yeah, well, sure, but not. That's not why. Like, I want to be a vegetarian fish who doesn't have to eat other fish to get to be the biggest fish. But anyway, in principle, that's the idea of don't take on a task that's too big for you because it's not noble to. You'll just get eaten. And I like that. It's like, it feels more approachable as a goal. It's like, all right, if you're a minnow, maybe go hang out in the aquarium for a bit until you get to be bigger. And then when you're big enough for a pond, then try the pond out. And then when you're, whatever.
Get a bigger room.
The first goal is to survive. Don't get eaten. And that makes me feel hopeful because it's like, all right, just become competent enough at something. Then find the room with people that are better than you at it. But don't find people that are so much better at you that you have nothing to contribute at all because you'll get eaten alive.
I have another thought that's kind of unrelated.
Okay.
Kind of. It was a thought I had after the shower. So it's an after shower thought, a dry thought.
Okay.
It was the idea about there's two kinds of people. And I don't know. I'm sure this is true about so many things, like I said, one or the other. You're trying to fart?
Yes, I'm trying. Just don't worry about it. Keep going.
I can't when you're looking. If I'm looking at the ceiling, it's because Zach's trying to fart. Oh, no, I can't look at him. No. There are two kinds of people, and I thought one type of person doesn't like the way things are, and they try to take down everything and everyone around them. And then there's people who don't like the way things are, and so they try to make themselves better.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those two. I just thought it was interesting because there's so many different for so many different. I just see this great division of one or the other.
Yeah.
For lots of different types of things in people, inward, outward perception. The thing I just said.
It's the difference of like the CEO gross guy who climbed on people's shoulders to get where he's at, as opposed to a person who built themselves a structure to climb, which is interesting. I like figuratively. I mean,
I'd have to hear that again because that's not what I was thinking about. Although what I said I was supposed to be kind of vague because it could be applied to. Here's a vague one. Two people play a game. One person loses, and so their reaction is to flip the game board.
mm-hmm.
One person plays and they lose, and they go, "I need to learn how to play this game better." It's one of those two.
That's yeah.
On the extremes, I mean, one person can just go, "I quit." One person can just go, "I guess I'll play again." But like,
Yeah. The flip side of that would be the person who wins, and so they keep playing bad people, so they feel like they win all the time, as opposed to a person who keeps beating people, and so they find a better arena in which to play with more talented players. There's one fair way to win, and there's a fair way to lose, and both. I was using the example of a person who's in business or something, and they climb the corporate ladder. but one manager does so by putting people down to make themselves look better, and another person does the opposite. They build themselves up so big that you can't be ignored. And there's like people like managers who built themselves up and who didn't tear anybody down along the way, and people notably don't like people who rip other people apart on their way to success.
Sounds like you're describing a leader versus a boss.
Yeah.
A leader is like a boss is places themselves. They both have the same job. They both tell you what to do, but the boss tells you what to do. It's like the opposite of leader. You're in the back of the pack with the whip. The leader's at the front with
Dragging the
rowing
toboggan.
rowing the boat with you. Mm-hmm. Leader is like a team member, but you count on him. I don't know.
Yep.
We're really kind of going off from the thing I just said about
bunny trailing a little bit.
Again, we're
Same idea.
But again, no, not quite the same idea. It's like, what are two losers going to do? You're like, what are the two different kinds of winners? I was talking about two different kinds. There's different kinds of everything. So we're like, different kind of bosses. You're one or the other. But yeah, that one for some reason stuck out. I was like, all I said after thinking that was, I want to be the kind of person who doesn't like the way things are, goes, I need to be better. I think that's the right way.
Yeah, you're talking about how to lose, which is another really important conversation.
Yeah. That'd be a great name for a book, wouldn't it?
How to lose.
How to lose. I'd be like, what's this?
I bet it
what's
exists.
This? It probably exists, but now it's going to exist, and so they make a lot of money.
What did you think? Yeah. No, it's super important. That's why you have to be kids with other kids, because you have to
I was
learn
just
to
gonna
lose.
say, after you said super important, I was like, that's why you have to play with kids as a kid.
Yep.
Man,
I hate losing.
imagine not having that as a kid. And a lot of kids have that, as in they don't have a chance to lose, learn to play, and you can see them as adults. They can't
You can pick
play.
them out.
They can't play.
You can pick them out of a crowd. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's certain, and what's really interesting, I'm going to use myself as the example because I'm the only one that I know of. But there are certain people who are usually better at games, especially at a young age, than most kids because they develop faster mentally or whatever.
Right.
I was that kid. I was always like a little bigger than people and a little faster and just a little smart. Like, I'm not saying I'm like this savant. I'm just saying
I won't tease you.
Okay.
I get like your conundrum. You're the only example you have. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, right. All right. So when you win a lot of games all the time, that rare occasion when I'd be playing Mario Party and someone else would win, I would be pissed and I would misbehave and I didn't know how to lose. And so those are the most interesting people, because especially as grown-ups, like you start losing a lot when you're a grown-up. Let me tell you.
That's what you say to kids. You won't like being an adult. You lose a lot.
If you don't like losing now, just wait till you hit college and you are meeting girls, because you're going to lose a lot, especially as a guy. Anyway, so that was a harsh reality about growing up for me. And I know other versions of people like me don't do as good as I did in learning that lesson, that you start losing when you become an adult. And I had a tough time with it, but I actually appreciate losing now. I still win games sometimes, but you know what I'm saying? You can see how a person kind of like I was as a kid, where I was used to winning all the time, might, flip in a bad way if they're like nurtured or whatever by their parents or by authority figures. And you didn't lose, you just didn't win, and you're gonna win all the time. Don't worry. Like, that's like a terrible lesson to teach people.
Yeah.
But those people exist who now, when they lose, they shoot up a building or whatever. That's real.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I wasn't quite that severe as a kid. I think I was a bit of both. It's both. There were some games I was good at, like literal games, and some that I was bad at. Mm-hmm. Whether I was good at the game or bad, if I lost, I was like, oh, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
I was not a sore loser, but not very motivated.
Yeah.
But if I won a game, I was like,
yeah.
No, I won't say anything. Just kind of. So I was just kind of both like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
I was really around the middle there, but I was not the you kid. I was not the one who's just good at stuff. Not me. I'm what was called mentally retarded.
That's from a bit.
Yeah, it's Steve Carell in Anchorman, I think. I know it's Steve Carell. I thinking about this some stuff. I was dumb. Anyway, not saying anything's changed, but that was a thing of the past.
Yeah.
How to lose. Just bringing it back in case we forgot.
I still have a hard time losing, but I can do it now, and I can do it graciously. Sometimes I don't do it graciously at all.
Here's a unique example. We play ping pong together, and I've won one time, and I think there was maybe some kind of handy. No,
I don't think so. I think you might have beat me.
I won, but I think it was that we were both using our left hands, and you don't usually play with your left. Maybe that's what it was. Either way, I won.
You're definitely better with your left hand than me.
I won, and you took that graciously as balls, which, considering how you described yourself, wouldn't be typical for you to be good at a game. And then I lost, but you were totally fine about it. And that says a lot about you, but it also says a lot about me. I'm someone who plays a game, and I do not expect to win. The right way to play a game, I think, is, well, you want to get something out of it. Hopefully what you get out of it is the game.
Enjoyment.
And I'm being kind of vague here. I'm thinking specifically about jobs or career work, and like if your game is to get money, that's a game you'll never win. That just sucks. If you're playing a game to be happy, good luck. No one knows how to go get it. It's just not. Anyway,
you can actually win
get money or
game.
happiness or things as a consequence of a good game. I don't know. I'm being vague and going off a bit.
Jordan Peterson has lectures about games, basically, is what it is. And I listened to all of his lectures. But one observation that he was talking about from a psychological perspective is that people can usually lose games, but they can't lose every game, and they can't lose any game all the time because they'll stop playing. They basically did a study where they track people. Rats they did, and they did with people too. And there's like a 1%. There's like they boiled it down to an average percentage. Like the average person can lose roughly 30% of the time and still have fun playing. Yep. Which I think is right, because there's been times like the times when I get the most mad are when I can think of times when I've gotten extremely mad at when I lived with my roommate, and we were playing like Madden or something, which is a game that's super random and volatile, and you never know. Like I sometimes trashed him, he sometimes trashed me, but I didn't mind losing close. But if I lost and my guys were doing terrible things and they were randomly dropping balls and stuff, I would get so upset because I felt like I was losing every bit of it, and I would just quit and I would stop playing. So that's an example of like times where I know I did not get even 30% lucky. It was like I got 0% lucky, and so I don't want to play. And there's been times when I've played like with my sister growing up, or because I won a lot. If I kept winning a game and was having fun, she just didn't want to play anymore. And I never understood, like, well, why would you want to stop? We're having so much fun. And I didn't realize it's because I kept winning. I haven't lost. Like, of course, at some point people would quit if they just keep losing a game. But I think that number's right. It's like if you can win about 30%, even if you lose the game, 70% to 30%, which is over double. By over double, it's still, it's not that much over double. And I think that's tolerable.
Yeah, I would, to put it more plainly or simply, a little bit more than half the time. I lose a little bit more than half the time, but that's 70, whatever.
And even like games where, like in ping pong is a good example. I think I've beaten you every time but that one time. But you never lose 20-1. Like you never lose that bad. You've lost a couple times, like 20-5 or 20-4.
That's
maybe.
a good point, because if I was losing 20-1 after how many games you played, I'd be like, this isn't.
But you normally, it's normally like 20-15, 20-17.
So if you're going to put the 30% rule in a game, then yeah, I win at least 30% of the points.
For sure.
I guess.
I think you win closer to 50% now.
Yeah.
We should play after we're done with the podcast.
Yeah, it's weird how we haven't played in so long.
Yeah. It's fun. But I do think that number is right, because you win more than 30% of the time, and you enjoy it more than a loser enjoys it, because you're not a loser. You win a lot.
You don't mean me specifically, right?
Yeah, you.
No, I've only won one time.
That's the game of ping pong, but points. I'm talking about individual points in the game.
You score 30% of the points. That's not
if I've scored a total of 1,000 points, you've scored like 890, like something close.
Yeah. Anyway,
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, in that way, it makes more sense.
Yeah. And that's, I think, how most, like, because you can lose one game all the time. Like, if you, like, for instance, Madden, or like, for instance, FIFA, I would play my roommate in FIFA and I lost almost every time. But I did score goals and he'd get 3 and I'd get 2 or something like that. And so I kept playing because I could compete. I could win.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that works. I mean, in some ways you take it for granted, like when they do like multiplayer game design, when the multiplayer lobby starts, they'll split the players on teams based on skill, based on rank, and what the game is trying to do is make you as closely matched as possible, which is for the betterment of all the players. We all want a game where we get close, which is really interesting how that works. Not the algorithm, which is interesting how it decides you're good and he sucks, put him with him. It figures that out based on your rank and all that stuff. That's interesting. But the idea that, a game has to be, well, aside from other things like fairness, randomness, variables, it has to be as close as possible for you to have fun, whether you win or lose. But yeah, 30% is kind of like that nice threshold number, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm thinking about chess right now. I started playing about a year ago or so. And when you play chess, it's one of those things that you're just constantly learning about it. And like you mess up a ton at first and you're just bad. Even if you're smart and you get the game, you're just bad because like good players know tricks and they know formations and whatever. Anyway, after about a year of playing, I love the app because it does the same thing Rocket League does, where it gives you a rank and it's a very finely pieced together rank that has a lot to do with exactly how you play every time. It's a very good algorithm. And so with your rank, it will match people within 100 points of your rank either way. And never more than that, because like they recognize more people will play if they have good competitive games.
Yep.
I'm pretty proud to say, this is me bragging a little bit, but I'm in the 80th percentile now of chess players in the world.
On that app.
On the app,
But
yeah.
still.
But I think the app is a pretty good microcosm of the good players in the world, because everybody uses that app.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty proud of that because
Good job.
I was at like the 60th percent really early on. So that's about a year's worth of practice. I wonder, because I could never, I'm just not smart enough to become like that top 10%. But I wonder if I could get to 90. I think I could if I was like playing all the time for like 5 years or something.
Top 10. 90th percentile, I mean top 10%.
Yeah. Well, but that's what I mean. I wonder if I could get close to that threshold.
Yeah, but let's see. It took you a year to get up 20%. So that would mean the next year you'll probably only make it to 5%.
Less than that, probably. Pareto distribution.
That's what I'm trying to describe. Is
if I started at 50, Pareto distribution is like barely here, because most people are like anyway. And then 80s or 90 from 80. 80 is like right here, which is not too much different. But 90 is going to be like here.
You know,
it's going to be a lot
another
harder.
Place. Just kind of randomly occurred to me. Halo games too. I assume not just Halo. Halo ranking works that way. So there's 152 levels in Halo 5. Let's say it takes 1,000,000 XP to get to 152. When you get to rank 144, so you're like 8 levels away, it takes 500,000 XP. Half of it gets you almost to the end, and then the last 8 levels are the other is just as much. It's literally just it's this. Isn't that kind of interesting how the game's designed that way?
I think they're smart for
so
doing
natural,
that. Yeah.
But it's so weird how that's like nature basically.
I think the most successful games repeat patterns in nature like that. Like Rocket League, they do that because they know like the pattern in nature of wins to losses is 30%. So they know if you've lost like 7 in a row, you need to be bumped down to a really easy rank in Rocket League, so you can get that win, you know?
Yeah.
They do that too. Like there was times when I'd go on when I was playing Rocket League, I'd go on like a 4-game losing streak and I would get a super easy matchup randomly. And then I'd just crush them and I'd be like, yeah, and I'd keep playing. Like I just wrecked these toddlers.
It's interesting how that works.
They're smart for that. That's why it's like such an addictive game, because it is fun gameplay, but they also make the competition very consistent. And it's really rewarding when you build your rank up and you start facing these good people.
Yeah, I haven't played ranked in a long time because I just don't want to stress anymore. But Halo 3 had a ranking system where you could play. What I was describing before is it's just the algorithm trying to make a fair game out of whatever players are in any game, as opposed to ranked, which is a very specific set of games where you're specifically trying 1-to-1, 2-to-2, 4-to-4, trying to get as close as possible because it's like an actual numeric ranking system. In Halo 3, the highest rank was 50. I got to 45 before it was too stressful because if you lose a game, you lose a rank.
Oh.
And then it takes like 3 to get a rank back or something like that. It made sense. But it came down to you lose a game, you're going to lose a rank.
Yeah.
You have to win. It was very difficult. But it was just interesting how games work is where it's and it again, kind of prayer distribution, it was easier to get up. Yeah, I don't know.
So
It's really interesting to hear like a statistician or somebody who's smart explain all of that exactly.
yeah, it would.
Like a 1 to 100 ranking system, how that works. 3 games to win, 1 to lose, versus 1 to win or 1 to lose, 3 to get to the next. Like that changes, but why? That's so interesting. Numbers, facts, objects. Boys are like, yes.
Numbers,
tangible
business.
things.
Yeah.
Is this working? Yes.
Yay. I had
Bruce Wayne. Who's that? No. Who's that? Sounds like a cool guy.
This is like a really cool guy.
Cool guy.
The Lego movie.
Yeah.
So-
Will Arnett's Batman.
Bruce Batman. Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Batman.
Bruce Wayne sounds like a really cool guy.
First try. We watched it like a month ago. It was really good.
Yeah. I don't see a wheel or 3 more wheels.
Oh, come on, it's obviously. And she says something.
Yeah. Okay, so in chess, as an example, I talked about how I'm now in the 80th percentile. Technically, I got up to like 85%, which was amazing. I was at like level 1500, which means you can compete in tournaments to become an international master. But that was a fluke because I started losing a ton, and where I was able to consistently sit was at like 80%.
Yeah.
Because so it's kind of flex. I kind of flex between 78 and 80, like 3 at this point, but 80% is pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So that's what I say I am. In recognition that like I admittedly like I got to 85%. And all my chess playing friends was like, guess what? I'm in the 85 percentile. And they're like, wow, that's so high, whatever. And like, secretly in my head, like, I'm not that good. I just got
kind
lucky.
of comes back to
Yeah.
Kind of goes back to where time before, where technically that's true.
Yep.
It's that thing.
Yeah. How that happens is like at that range, they start everybody off, I think like 60, like 70 percentile or something, which is like 1,200 points or something. I don't know if that's actually accurate.
You said you started at 60, so you couldn't have started.
Well, what happens is they start everybody at 1,200, and then most people lose a ton because you start playing 1,200s, which are like in the 1,200s are in the 80th percentile. So anyway, you start there, and then you lose a bunch, and you get down to like 600, and then from there you kind of grow up mostly, unless you're really good already, and then maybe you start grow. It just depends on how often you lose. Anyway, so I can't remember where I was going with that, but the idea was the same. It was that you
Ranking.
yeah, the rankings are very generous with you at first, in assumption that like if you get beat like to death 2 times in a row, you get shot down in the rankings. Yeah.
Warm chocolate cake in my belly. I was actually thinking about the chicken I had. It was really good.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
It's off days. Chicken is good on days. Crazy guy.
You had chicken? Crazy guy.
You're so wild and crazy. Today's National Cookie Day, and my neighbor brought over. Our friend brought me a cookie, and I couldn't eat the whole thing, and so I brought you another half. And then I remembered you don't eat it right now, so I have to eat it later.
That's International Cookie Day. I'm sure you can find a way.
Yeah.
But you have till midnight. Midnight? Why is it always midnight?
What's that from?
Shrek 2, pretty sure.
Shrek 2.
It's like a joke on how it's always
Cinderella.
midnight. Yeah, it's everything or ever. All those movie plots. You have to do by midnight. Why? Just because. Anyway.
Why is it always midnight? Huh. Why is it always midnight?
Because it's the end of the day. That's why. But still, to say midnight, it's kind of a joke. Actually, it is a joke. It's kind of funny. There you go.
I wish people use more middays. I'll meet you at
you have
midday.
until midday. When's that? It's the middle of the day. When's that? It's after the morning.
Okay, but by
before.
the same logic as midnight, it'd be 12 p.m.
Yeah, but you'd say noon.
Yeah, but I like
That's
midday
a
better.
that's a number.
Can you imagine your boss like comes to your like cubicle is like, lunch midday? You'd be like, that's so foreboding, but that just means noon. Remember our meeting at midday? And it's like some spreadsheet meeting or whatever. You're like, oh wow.
Midday, evening, morning. There's another one. Let's see. So midnight. I always think of it as a night, morning,
Afternoon.
afternoon, and evening. And like, okay, so that's 4 periods, 24 hours, which means each would be a 6-hour block. So I would say midnight to 6 is night, and then 6 to 12 is morning, but then
12 to 6
12
is
is
midday.
evening. 12 to 6 is the evening. I would.
6 to 12 is evening. And
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
12 to
afternoon.
6
Afternoon is what I was
midday.
trying to say. 12 to 6 is afternoon. 6 to 12 at midnight is evening. But it's really subjective, apparently. I don't think there's an actual definition of if someone says evening, it means 6 to 12. That's not what it means. It's vague.
You know how, okay, I would like to see a geographical stat of this, but there are places that say that breakfast is breakfast, but then they say lunch is dinner and they say dinner is supper. Like here in the Midwest, we say breakfast, lunch, dinner. But there are other places
Oh, I
that
get
say
it now.
breakfast, dinner,
Yeah.
supper.
Yeah.
And I wonder what people do
I
that.
bet it's a European thing. I don't know. Are you sure it's.
Yep.
There might be places in America that do that. Like in the South.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah. 'Cause
I thought I get what you mean, and I think for that reason, that's why dinner and supper are interchangeable because you're either talking about breakfast, lunch, dinner, or breakfast, dinner, supper. In
Yeah.
which case, the third meal is either dinner or supper.
yeah, right. They're interchangeable in some people's minds.
Yeah,
In my mind, I think dinner is supper. They're like the same thing, but lunch is this, like lunch is not dinner in my mind. But like I know that some people in this country do because my grandma and grandpa used to. They
call
used to
lunch
say
dinner?
lunch, dinner, supper. They'd say like, "Come get some dinner," and it would be like 11 a.m. And it's
Yeah,
like that
that's
is not
weird.
dinner, Grandma. But it was in her mind. She goes, "Yeah, you can say that." I remember a conversation I had there, and I was, "Isn't this? It's lunch, Grandma. You can say it's dinner. We say lunch, dinner, supper." And I said, "Why?" Like, well, I don't know why. We just do. Anyway, I remember the conversation.
but Grandma, that's not a good reason. You have to consider the consequences.
Like maybe I'll
Start
kill
with
you
a big fight.
if you say dinner for lunch. Have you thought about that, Grandma? That I will kill you?
What about in countries where they don't get dinner? It's insensitive. Whatever. It just becomes like this big arbitrary debate.
No, it was nice. She explained it to me, but I still didn't understand like what.
It was nice. She explained it to me, but she's still wrong. It's lunch.
Yeah, she's dead now, so yeah, it's okay.
Should have listened.
Oh no, that's terrible.
It just seemed like you were implying that.
I know. I was like,
she's dead now. Like,
I wonder if this
oh,
would be an
jeez.
appropriate time to disclose that. But
For
yeah,
the record, if I'm dead, feel free to make jokes about me being dead because it's the only time those jokes will be funny.
like my granddad, he's not dead, and he still says dinner at lunchtime. Sometimes he calls it lunch, sometimes he calls it dinner, and I think it's because we rubbed lunch off on him.
Ah, yeah.
We rubbed lunch off
I
on
was
him.
thinking about food fight. I was like, what are you talking about?
Just lunch, just lasagnas.
Oh,
Hey, you better knock that off there. Oh. I wonder where that came from. Or it's like soda and pop. Mm-hmm. Like where says soda? We say pop here.
yeah.
I guess sometimes we say soda, but it's mostly like pop. It's pop.
Yeah, but I would never say pop can. I would say soda can.
Yeah.
So,
I actually say soda more now, but I know like most people in this area say pop. Can you give me pop? In some places, soda. Sorry, go ahead.
no, that's okay.
Some places they call like soda. They call Coke soda. Like it's like can you get me a Coke means just get me a soda.
When they say give me a tissue, it means get me a Puffs brand tissue.
Yeah.
Specifically a brand. Well, give me a soda. They mean specifically a Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. Sometimes they're like, can you give me a Coke? And they actually like get root beer or something.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. There's some places that I've been, like I know down south they do that some.
That's how you know Coke is more popular than Pepsi, because no one uses Pepsi to describe a soda.
Yep.
People say Coke to describe a soda. That's what Kleenex is to tissues. People say, give me a Kleenex. They mean just give me a tissue, but they use the name brand.
Yep.
Band-Aid technically counts.
Yep.
Give me a adhesive medical strip. Like that's technically one of those things.
Bandage is what it is.
Bandage.
Yeah.
If you can brand an object, good job, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones now.
That's fun.
Yeah. Like Band-Aid is a great example of it because that is a brand of it.
It's just, I had that issue with Kleenex for a long time. It didn't occur to me until years. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what it's called. This is a tissue.
Yeah. Also,
Why do we call it a Kleenex?
Also, you say Kleenex. You don't say Kleenex.
Kleenex.
You say Kleenex.
Kleenex, I do.
You don't say Kleenex.
I was taught that. I never got to read it off the box. I was a kid. Kleenex. It sounds like Mucinex or mucus.
Yeah, Tylenol. That's another example. Give me a Tylenol. What they mean is give me an acetaminophen or something.
Acetaminophen. Acetaminophen.
Acetaminophen.
Yes.
Acetaminophen.
Give me an Advil. They do say that too, which is ibuprofen.
Yeah.
But yeah, they branded the painkillers. It's a good. It's nice.
Or like sometimes Tums. They do that with Tums too. What they mean is an acid tablet. But Tums is the one.
But there's also Alka-Seltzer, Pepsi-Bismol.
Pepto-Bismol. Pepsi-Bismol. That sounds gross.
It's a Pepsi can, but instead of blue, it's pink.
Yeah. And then it's like really syrupy when it comes out. It's still Pepsi, but it's like, yeah, gross. Tums is another good example of that. I don't know. I can't think of other examples.
I'm sure there are tons. I'm thinking, but I'm not thinking of them.
There's a billion of them.
Billions of them. Billions of
geese. Harley. Well, maybe not that so much. I know a lot of people that call cruiser bikes Harleys, even if they're not Harley Davidsons.
Yeah, that's true. They do, and I'm like, it's a cruiser.
Now that's more just people. I don't know that's
ignorance. That's more an ignorance, less of culture.
Yeah. But like I think as a culture, people call bandages Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Even if they're off-brand Band-Aids. Yeah. Interesting. I wonder. We actually talked about things that people adopt into the lexicon. Another time, I put it as a highlight on TikTok, but it was with the TikTok joke about. You just got coconut mauled. Tag your friends. Totally coconut maul them. I brought it up because I just now thought of another example of something that was adopted lexicon, but it's gone now, and I'm embarrassed.
It's okay. Let's let you be embarrassed today. My brain didn't go anywhere.
Now's a good time for the bit that I wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
First a fart, and then
You turn the piano.
Oh yeah, I gotta turn this on. I wonder if it's still making sounds. Welcome to Space Talk. I'm here with our intern who is studying astrology from the University of Texas, Oklahoma. Here, Richard, tell us your experience in astrology. First of all, I'm a Capricorn, and let me just tell you, the sun has been getting to me lately. Now, tell me about the stars, Richard, or whatever I named you.
Well, yes, my name is Richard, and I prefer the term space guru. And the thing about Capricorns is that the unicorns, that is an unknown sect of space. They're a very underutilized sect. Now, they're thought to be very peaceful, but they're actually very violent. Now, you wouldn't know it from my good boy's looks, but
this has been Space Talk. Come back next week and we're going to talk about why those blasted cancers can't keep their keys inside. See you next time. I heard that sound. I was like, I want to do a show.
I love how you just interrupt. Oh, sorry. The camera wasn't on you in that last part.
Yeah, those blasted cancers.
It would be funnier if you used that whole setup to me, to Richard, and then the good Richard. Well, that's true. Ding, ding.
Right away.
Yeah. That's the whole bit. Every time when you cut to your co-host, you're going to cut away very, very quick. You're going to cut him off each time.
Well, this would be the
bit.
perfect. Okay, this is why we need to get famous, because we set up that bit, and every time it's you as the guest, but someday we get like Neil deGrasse Tyson in here, and just like, welcome to Space Talk, blah blah blah. Our guest today is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
People were like,
tell us
whatever.
Tell us about or dark energy.
And then
Neil
it actually
cuts to him and
is.
ding ding. It actually is
Yes,
Neil,
and you have to
then
cut
he's-
him off.
Well, we got this. Ding, ding,
You have to.
ding.
And they're like,
Thank
that
you.
was Neil deGrasse Tyson.
It lasts like
so
5
funny.
seconds,
Yep.
and then we're like, pay him a whole bunch of money to come do this joke. It'd be perfect. I want to do that so bad.
That's funny, dude.
It actually is him, and you would just be everybody would be like, oh, "That's Neil deGrasse Tyson," and
hilarious.
then you cut away, so you'd be like, "No, we wanted to hear about dark energy, dark energy."
I imagine in a case like that he would do that for the bit, but he would actually be our guest and there would be a long section talking to him. But for the bit, he has to go through
yeah.
the joke. So we're not actually going to only use him for 5 seconds, but
Yeah, right, exactly.
the joke must stand.
In
there are no
principle.
exceptions.
We'd have to. We'd have to do it. It's the same joke as there's a John Krasinski video where he, like notoriously, there was like a hockey championship, and he's a fan, I think, of the St. Louis Blues, and then Jenna Fisher, who plays Pam in The Office, is a fan of the other team, and they were facing off. And so, like, notedly, people knew that these were their favorite hockey teams, and it's this championship, and he said he was going. Well, he put up a video about it because all these fans were like, are you guys going to go watch it together and root for different teams? It'd be so cute, blah, blah, blah. Well, she didn't get to go for whatever reason. So he put up an Instagram story. He was like, well, hey, Pam, hey, Jenna, I just wanted to let you know that I'm really sorry you couldn't come. I got this extra ticket, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's just a real shame that you couldn't come here. And he's like, oh, sorry, let me just scooch out of the way. And so the guy that scooches behind him and sits next to him is the guy who plays her fiance
Yeah.
in the show. And he's like, again, just real sorry. And the guy just was sitting there eating the popcorn next to him. It was such a funny video because
funny.
Because he hardly acknowledges him. Like, I had to invite someone else. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Let me scooch out of your way here. And then he sits down and just eats popcorn. Like, yep. Well, maybe we'll talk to you later, hopefully. And the other guy's just like, who's that? He's like, it's Jenna. He's like, oh, tell her I said hi. You know, that's like, it's a funny little video. What is that guy's name? I can't remember his name, but he's the guy who plays the.
I thought when you said, and someone's going to scoot in and sit down, it was going to be whoever played his other love interest in the show.
Oh, that'd be funny too.
Like his other girl instead.
Yeah, it was her. It was her other love interest in the show. Rory, I think, is his.
I don't know the
Rudy or
characters
something?
at all, honestly. So.
I don't remember it either. Rory or Rudy or Rare,
Ruby?
Rodney, Rob. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't start with an R at all. Maybe I'm going crazy. But it was the one that she was like engaged to in the first season or two or whatever.
Oh, you're trying to do the guy's name?
Yeah, what is his?
I thought you were trying to say
name?
the other girl interest's name.
Oh, no, I don't remember her name either. But the guy's name, it was like Rodney. I can't remember. Maybe it is Rory.
Rob?
I'm overthinking it. Rory. Stan. It's not. I don't know.
If it bothers you that much, we do have the internet now. You could look it up.
Yeah, it's not important.
Doesn't
to the
bother you that
podcast.
much? Okay.
It's not. But thanks for doing that bit with me.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that more.
No, it's off. You can't. No, don't ruin the bit. No, you're gonna taint it. The bit is tainted.
Welcome back to Space Talk with me, your host. This week I have Steven, who is another Capricorn. What? Now tell us a lot of things, Steven.
Well, the things I want to tell you is about how the Capricorns have.
I really just wanted to make you. Oh, that's all the time we had. You can come back next time. I just wanted to force you to do it so bad. I was like,
Well, I had to go
do
through
it.
Yeah. That's funny because as soon I was like, I resigned. Like, I have
He
to do
was
it.
so
I have
mad.
to do it. It's the joke. The joke must stand. Joke is king. Yeah,
But then as soon as you started talking, I was like, I want to make him scramble. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to.
I'm never gonna interrupt. You just keep going forever. I thought you might do that too. When I was like, oh shh.
You were mad.
Yeah.
I was like, fine, I'll pull him out of his misery.
I think that's a good stopping point.
Okay.
What we talk about, man, some deep sauce. Not like
Yeah.
super deep, but like interesting stuff.
We
Sauce.
talked about Is there like a consolidated thing that we could call the episode? I don't know. Because we also talked about games and stuff. But
Yeah, the games was like the second half. First half was acting versus feeling.
behavior versus feelings.
Yeah, acting versus feeling, something like that. But that was like
Choices versus feelings, baby.
whatever. We don't have to come up with that now, but it was kind of on. You don't burp enough. All right, we're gonna close this forever today. Thank you all for listening. I guess we'll have no choice but to see you next time, but only next time. Okay, bye.